Hello Internet, I'm your only mate and I decided to put this little video together to prepare for the upcoming Death Battle Season 5. Just before Season 3 started, I did a little something like this, where I listed a bunch of Death Battle matchups that I would like to see. But of course over time, those matchups either happened, one character fought someone else, or my opinion on them just changed altogether. So I thought it'd be a good idea to make a more updated list. So here are 10 death battles I'd like to see, and I bet you can't guess what number 1. Yeah, okay, hang on. Look, I'm gonna level with you here. If you're familiar with me in any way, whether you know me personally or of me, you most likely know that my most wanted fight in all of Death Battle is Blake Belladonna from RWBY versus Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. I've said this multiple times, so how about I just get that out of the way with, say, that's my most wanted fight, then leave it there, and I talk about the other 9 matchups. Also, don't expect me to list any matchups like RWBY vs Marker, Galactus vs Unicron, or Wiz vs Boomstick here. Why? Because we already know those fights are going to happen one day. Screw Attack have said that these matchups will happen, so I'm not going to bother listing them. And finally, I'm not listing these fights in any particular order. So how about I shut up and get on to the point of the video. Number 9. So, as I've just stated, my most wanted fight is Blake vs Mikasa, and one of the reasons why is because they're two of my favourite characters from each show respectively. While Mikasa is my favourite Attack on Titan character, I would still love to see Eren in a death battle one day. I've seen him requested to fight a bunch of people, but none of them really appealed to me. Then I came across Wanda from Shadow of the Colossus. Both have lost loved ones to giant monsters, both fight those giant monsters to avenge said loved ones, and both turn into those giant monsters that they kill. Just imagine the animation. Starts off with a sword fight, then it turns into a battle between giant monsters destroying everything around them. This matchup makes a lot of sense thematically to me, and I think it would make an awesome fight. The episode as a whole would have a great selection of music. I mean, if you heard Attack on Titan or Shadow of the Colossus soundtracks, they're good. But anyway, let's get to the rest. Number 8. You know, one episode of Death Battle that always stood out to me was the Pokemon Battle Royale. Ever since that fight came out, one episode I've wanted to see is another Pokemon Battle Royale. But this time, with the Generation 2 starters. Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal were some of my favourite games growing up, and I would love to see this fight actually happen. Plus, I think it would make an interesting fight and a bit more even than the first Pokemon Battle Royale, especially considering none of them are dual type. It's just a simple fight between Grass versus Water versus Fire. Honestly, I'm probably fine with whichever starter wins. And all the times I've actually tried to determine a winner for myself, I can't really think of it. Might just be because I don't have the dedication in me to go through all the maths that was behind the first Battle Royale. So, yeah. Good luck with that one, researchers, I guess. Number 7. In Death Battle, we've had all kinds of fights. Fist fights, gun fights, sword fights, archery fight, monster fight, robot fight, ice fight, and even a literal firefight. One I've always wanted to see is a spaceship fight, and the one I want is the Millennium Falcon versus Planet Express. One, because I love Star Wars and I love Futurama, so that right there screams, make this happen. But also, it's kind of an interesting debate in a way, because on one side, you have a more experienced crew with a worse ship. But on the other, you have a crew who aren't as experienced, but have a much better ship. So, what gives who the win exactly? Oh, also, if this comes to the crews on the ground, I would love to see Chewbacca fight Bender. If anything, just have a scene where Chewie rips Bender's arms off, then we have one arm tap Chewbacca on the shoulder, point to the other, and the other arm punches him in the face. Just like what happened with Bender versus El Chupa Libre. Come on, that'd be funny. And you know it. Number 6. I'll admit this one might seem a bit odd, but just bear with me. And this is a fight I would love to see, mainly just for the potential of the analysis. I want to see the crew from Call of Duty Zombies versus the crew from Left 4 Dead. Picture it. 2 teams of 4, known for fighting off wave after wave of the undead, pitted against each other in a no-holds fight to the death. Seriously, I would love to see the animation, the potential of the choreography, the action, the weapons, and the voice acting. Come on, it'd be great! But mainly, I would just like to hear Wiz and Boomstick trying to make sense of the COD crew's backstory. I just imagine that being really entertaining. Like, seriously, there's time travel, alternate realities, and all sorts of stuff involved. Imagine Wiz trying to explain it, and Boomstick trying to understand it. You know that would be great. Number 5. Ever since I got into Death Vessel, there was one character I always wanted to see featured, and that was the Hulk. And in 2016, I finally got my wish in Hulk vs. Doomsday. But unfortunately for Hulk, he got a bit ahead of himself. I'm not even sorry. And in hindsight, I kind of realized that, well, Hulk couldn't really win that fight. Because all he had to kill Doomsday was physical force, and Doomsday was immune to that. Kind of a no-brainer. But anyway. The point of this matchup is, I would like to see Hulk come back and fight his other most requested opponent, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And honestly, this matchup makes a bit more sense thematically to me than Hulk vs. Doomsday did. You have 2 guys who, when something snaps, they go under this transformation and become these unstoppable monsters of rage and destruction. I expect a lot of destruction from this fight. Like, at the very minimum, a city being destroyed. At minimum. Plus, when it comes to voice acting, they could get Parker back for Hulk. He was really, really good, actually. And for Broly, well, be a bridge voice actor. Oh, and that's another thing. Broly's analysis. Come on, you know you want to hear Wiz and Boomstick make all the jokes. But aside from all those points, I just think this would be a more even fight for Hulk. You know, considering this time he'd actually be fighting someone he could actually kill. Number 4. As soon as I came across this matchup, I knew I wanted it. And it is the Arbiter from Halo versus the Predator. 2 aliens with lots of weapons, and cloaking sounds great to me. Although I don't think cloaking would really matter that much in this fight, considering they both have ways to find each other. Predator with his thermal vision, and Arbiter with his motion sensor. There is a bit of a problem with this matchup though, and it's that Predator tends to die a lot. So I wonder, would it be fair to use every single Predator from all the movies, despite the fact that they are different Predators? Because they are still the same species, so it'd be reasonable to say they could all do the same thing. And I don't know, I would just like to see how this fight gets tackled, and all honesty, when it comes to Death Vessel. And actually, I've tried to debate this matchup with a bunch of friends of mine because we're all Halo fans, and we actually can't determine a winner. So, Death Battle, please give us an answer. Number 3. So those who are familiar with me know obviously what my most wanted and favourite death battles are, but you'll also know my least favourite episode is Pikachu vs. Blanca. Well, a while back, I saw a matchup brought up by Ben on Twitter, and I've actually started to think about it a lot, and I actually really find myself wanting it. It is Pikachu versus Jibanyan from Yokai Watch. At first I didn't think too much of this matchup, but overall, after the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime started, I heard a lot of people comparing Pokemon to Yokai Watch, and even heard that the Sun and Moon anime and Yokai Watch itself have a sort of rivalry now. So this matchup becomes all the more fitting. And it's definitely one I'd be down for seeing. I'd absolutely be up for seeing Pikachu's updated analysis. And if it comes to would they give Pikachu and Jibanyan their human partners, honestly, I could see it being done either way. With them by themselves or with their partner by their side. Who knows? Matchup makes a lot of sense to me, so yeah, I want it. And I like the matchup a lot more than Pikachu versus Blanca, I'll tell you that much. Number 2. Now, if you saw the last video I did like this, you might remember that I had Mewtwo versus Silver at this spot. But then we got Mewtwo versus Shadow, and that idea was pretty much confirmed to never happen. So, there goes that. And I've wanted to see Silver in Death Battle, but just not against Trunks. And given the fact that we got, well, Vegeta versus Shadow, I think that kind of confirms how that would go anyway. So I've been searching and searching and searching for potential opponents for Silver, and then I came across Axel from Mega Man X. Why these two? Well, it's mostly for the whole that they have the exact same role in the trios of their respective series. You have the blue hero, the one that started out evil but turned good, and then the one that all the fans hate. So, why not put these two in a death battle against each other to see who gets that chance for redemption? Although if the fans really do hate these two that much, then whoever loses, their fan base is happy, so it's kind of like a weird twist with like regular death battles. Plus, you know the analysis are gonna be funny for both of these guys. I mean, if the fan base hates them that much, then you know Wiz and Boomstick are gonna make so many jokes out of them. Number 1. Now there's a type of death battle matchup that I would love to see one day. And that is Red versus Blue versus Ruby. But which characters? Yang versus Tex? We know Tex is gonna lose. Because she has that thing where she's doomed to fail. Blake versus CT? Yeah, CT hasn't done a lot that I think would give her a good shot. Plus, save Blake for Mikasa. Then we have the one that I put at this spot in my last video, Carolina versus Pura. And the fight would be awesome, don't get me wrong, and that's why I wanted it, for an awesome fight. And because I like both characters. But you eventually realize it's someone who controls metal versus someone in a metal suit. However, I have found one that I think must happen sometime. And that matchup is Cinderfool versus the Meta. For one, these two are actually two of, if not the most popular villains the Rooster Teeth have to offer in either of their series. The fight would be, honestly, pretty freaking amazing, with Cinder throwing fireballs at Meta and Meta firing the brute shot at her. Like Cinder pulling out swords and little Meta countering them with the blade on his brute shot. Don't lie, you would like to see Torian do that fight. But on top of that sort of stuff, I also want this because out of all the RVB versus Ruby matchups I've seen suggested, this one is actually, in my opinion, the closest one that we have. Plus, there's a lot more debate to it, given all the armor enhancements that Meta has. So I'm absolutely down for this, and would like to see it happen one day. Alright, that's all of them. And I hope you enjoyed that video. Feel free to let me know what you think of these matches, or if you have a most wanted fight, then be sure to let me know. And if you're only here on my channel for Death Battle videos, then I will see you in my reaction to the Season 5 premiere, whatever that might end up being. Or if not, then I'll see you in whatever video I post next, which will most likely be a RWBY reaction or get blocked. Anyway, thanks for watching, all of that stuff, and here is my Tracer outro. Bye.
Hello loves, Tracer here. You've just watched a video by your only mate. Subscribe, like, comment and check out his other stuff. Cheers loves!